The NFL world turns to Indianapolis, and Martin and Monaco take a little bit of a gander at the NBA as well. Let's get into it. Monaco out again, joined here this week by former co-host, former coworker Mark Gunnels. You know what we'll say former co-host, former coworker. And I want to say current friend. However, I'm not sure because years ago, I was the one who was like, you know what, Mark? All these quarterbacks that are in the Heisman Trophy campaign, they all play high school football within 20 miles of where we're at. Let's go check them out. And sure enough, you know who we both saw in person? Makai Lemon, wide receiver number 1 in this upcoming draft. Come to find out, as I peruse your Instagram, you've been doing a little basketball scouting in Inglewood. I can't tell, though, because my phone hasn't rang. Mark, how you doing?
Wow, you came in very hot, man. I wasn't expecting that. But, you're always more than welcome right now. It's playoff. Well, it's almost ended now. It's getting close to the end now. CIF is pretty much done at this point. But I'm sorry, man. I'll make sure I keep you in mind. You still got high school baseball out here. It's really big. So maybe we can get into some baseball.
Maybe. I mean, listen. I remember, I'll never forget looking up and seeing short little Bryce Young holding that Heisman Trophy and thinking, man, I probably could have seen him play in high school. And since then, I've been going to California high school football games and getting eyes. You remember that game, of course, right? And
yeah, it was an ugly game.
As a quick, me and you both were sitting in the stand saying, Malachi Nelson, I'm not sure. Makai Lemon, I'm sure.
Yeah, you didn't see it. I mean, obviously they were overmatched. I think who are they playing modern day?
That was Los Alvarez Poly. Poly was overmatched.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but still, I didn't see any traits that led me to believe this guy was the best high school quarterback in the country.
So, you may have thought that I was just bagging on Mark to begin this. There was a point. James Gladstone, the GM, who is younger than both of us, by the way, Mark Gunnels, and Liam Coen, the Jaguars head coach, have decided to skip the NFL Combine. And they say, we are not needed here. Now, to be clear, the Jaguars are not skipping the NFL Combine. They still have representatives there. It's just that the first and second most important are not going to be in attendance. What's your initial take hearing the Jaguars following the path of – you've seen the Rams do it as well, bringing the top of the brass, or keeping the top of the brass at the crib?
I don't think it's a real big deal. I mean, at the end of the day, they still going to have guys that are representing them there. They're still going to have film, and all they need, what they need to see is what's going on there. And to me, honestly, I think the Combine is a little overrated. I've always felt that way. I mean, how many times do we see guys stock either drop or rise during the Combine, but then it's like, why? Like, we actually have game footage of these guys playing actual football games. So to me, yes, I'm not saying there's no value in it at all, but for example, like the 40-yard dash, like that's been so overhyped over the years. Oh, this guy ran a 4.25. Oh my gosh, he's going to be the next great thing. And can he actually run a route? I don't care how fast you are running in a straight line. Can you actually run a route and get open and create separation? Because you just can't run straight lines every route. So things like that kind of turns me off a little bit. It's at this point now, it's more of a spectacle. I feel like just for the fans to watch, because there's nothing going on as far as football right now. So we're just craving for any type of football that we can get. So that's how I look at it right now. It's not a big deal. It's a nothing burger for me.
I wouldn't say it's a nothing burger. I think it's definitely interesting. I'm putting it in my file cabinet, right? I like to say I have a file on every team, right? Sometimes that file will be one sheet of paper long. Sometimes that file, I have to get a whole new file cabinet. I'm putting it in the file cabinet. The same way I put in trading up to get Travis Hunter in the file cabinet, right? Like, this team already has squandered quite a bit of draft resources. For a team that just made the postseason, and really, depending on how you look at it, I thought they should have won a game, right? I thought that story of that game was Jaguars blowing it against Buffalo, and Josh Allen being, has the ability to kind of take things to the next level when he's not getting in his own way. And I think that was kind of the story of that playoff game. But to me, that's a team that could have used 2 or 3 more starters and probably would have maybe had 2 or 3 more starters without the Travis Hunter trade, right? But I would say, if you feel like this is a competitive advantage, right, because you're competing against everybody in the NFL at all times, right? Just in the concept of going to the combine and scouting players, and you feel like I would go and not just do something different than everybody else was doing. But I would not make a notice that if I think the combine is useless, right? If I think the Jaguars think the combine doesn't have any use for these guys, I would go and have them doing something else, even if it's just football-related stuff, because now it's a story that your guys are home working, and it's kind of like tipping your own cap. But I don't know. Again, we'll see how this class turns out. You know, the Rams have been done this. Gladstone comes from the Rams family. It ultimately is not a huge deal at the moment, but this is the type of thing that you can look back at 4 years from now and say, you made a grave mistake underestimating just the visual, what it looked like not going to the combine.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, but at the same time, what if they're ahead of the curve here? What if they're going against the grain and it's actually a positive? I mean, I'm not comparing them obviously to this team because they were a dynasty, but just an example that came to my head. How many times did we say, that's kind of weird that Belichick and the Patriots are moving like this? Nobody else in the league is doing that, and ended up working out for them. So maybe going against the grain here is going to create a new trend. I don't know. But like I said, at the end of the day, they're still going to have who's going to be there exactly for them? Do we know? Just some scouts or whatever?
The same guys,
just
the same
scouts?
area scouts that scout these guys when they're in their colleges and at their pro days and things of that nature. So let's move on then, because you're a big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's very hard, Ian, to watch a football game with Mark Gunnels, because if, in fact, the Chiefs are playing at the halftime, he has to find somewhere where he has good service so he can run the all-important Chiefs Twitter/X spaces in which they will vent about what's going on in the first half. And then post-game, I'm telling you, you think that Andy Reid is fast to the podium. Mark Gunnels is faster to the X, okay? So he's right then and there. So he gets it all when it comes to Kansas City. I saw today Tyrann Mathieu saying that Kansas City never really recovered from losing both he and Tyreek Hill in the same offseason. And while they won the Super Bowl the next year, Patrick Mahomes covered up a lot of holes. Well, Tyreek Hill, sans a knee, is available at the moment. Will he be rejoining the band, just like Eric Bieniemy before him?
Yeah, I think he will. I think it's inevitable at this point. He's actually training in Kansas City right now. A couple of days ago, Andy Reid said he's monitoring the situation, or they are as a collective, but there has been no talks as of now. But I'm not buying that actually at all. I mean, if we haven't seen one thing this offseason, as you kind of alluded to, the Chiefs are bringing a lot of former people back on their coaching staff, not just Eric Bieniemy. I mean, I can go down the list of guys like linebacker coaches, offensive linemen, defensive back coach. Like, they're bringing a lot of guys that were from or have some type of ties to Andy Reid at some point in their career. So I think Kelsey's going to come back too, first of all. I think that's a lock at this point. I don't see him going out like that. I think he's going to come back with Mahomes being hopefully ready for week 1. And Tyreek Hill, I have no idea what the timetable is. Obviously, I know he needs another surgery, I heard he said a couple weeks ago. So he may not be ready by the start of the season, but that actually gives me more reason to think that he will come back to Kansas City because he already knows the system. So the fact he's going to miss the whole training camp, preseason, all of that, as we assume, why would he go somewhere else where he has to learn a whole new system, a whole new quarterback, and things of that nature, when actually the Chiefs kind of need another receiver? And I would even draft another one, especially with what's going on with Rashee Rice right now. We don't know how that's going to play out with that legal situation. So he may be another suspension on the horizon for Rashee Rice. And they got a lot of holes to fill. So I think it's a low risk. He shouldn't cost that much after, his leg just fell apart, as we saw. And he's 32 years old, I believe. So he's clearly not the same guy he was the first time he was in Kansas City. But why not take a low risk, cheap 1-year deal? He knows the system. He knows the city. He knows the quarterback, the coach. I don't see I don't see it as a big risk at all.
Okay, I understand that you're looking at this through your Chiefs color glasses here. And right, in the aggregate, by itself, it's not the worst. Especially if you can, 1 year, $11 million with some incentives up to 14. Okay, cool, right? All right, I can get behind that. But the bigger overarching thing about this to me, which gives me a lot of cause for concern, this is, like you just said it, the Chiefs are not just bringing the band back together. They're like Mighty Ducks 2 doing the duck quack and skating and getting the entire cast of the first movie back together. And I'm here to tell you, some of those guys didn't need to be there the first time. Like, I'm not saying that, like, this is one thing that I found, remember when the Brady Buccaneers won the Super Bowl? A major talking point is that they're brought back all 22 starters. Right? They were bringing back all 22 starters, all 22 starters, all 22 starters. And I was like, that is assuming that they couldn't have gotten better at any single position, right? Like, just because your starting cornerback is your starting cornerback does not mean he's the best starting cornerback in the NFL. He's the best one that you got. But you can get a whole bunch of new ones. If I'm the Chiefs, and I am looking now at, just as somebody who is looking at the outside looking in, Brett Veach has failed to land a big-time number one receiver since moving off from Tyreek Hill. I agree with Tyrann Mathieu in that the defensive backfield has taken a step back once he has left it, but you live with that, right? I'm okay with the step back they took, but again, when you know the Stags defense, it's if you can't man up and you can't blitz and get home, it's going to be ugly, right? And I think you saw some of those issues a little bit when the Chiefs weren't scoring 35 points a game. But the thing that is the most concerning for me, the leading receiver for Kansas City in 2018, the leading running back for Kansas City in 2018 was Tyreek Hill and was Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt, I don't know where he's in the pecking order of running backs right now, but down the stretch last year.
Well, he's not coming back. He's a free agent. They're not bringing him back.
They weren't bringing him. That's kind of my point. They weren't bringing him back the last time he was a free agent. And then all of a sudden he ends up back on the roster. Like, where is the new blood? Like, where is the new, like when you have, all right, let's think about Tom Brady. Tom Brady went to Super Bowls with Ty Law and, now I'm blanking, of course, on everybody on the freaking roster. But went to the Super Bowls early, right? Had the Moss years. Didn't make the Super Bowls. Now he's back in the Super Bowls with Gronk and Hernandez and, you know what I'm saying, Welker and Edelman. Like when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you got to continually be building around him. And I think that was the biggest flaw of last year's team for the Kansas City. So bringing back Tyreek Hill by itself, yeah, I don't hate the move. But in the umbrella of all the moves that they have made, it feels like more of the same.
I think you're missing the main component here, and you kind of alluded to it when you brought up Kareem Hunt. But Brett Veach actually had a press conference today, and at the combine, and the main thing that I took from it is, and this is what something Chiefs fans have been clamoring for a while now, is that they needed explosive running back. And there's been rumors that ETN from the Jaguars is somebody they got their eye on. Breece Hall was another guy, but it sounds like the Jets are going to tag him. And I doubt Kenneth Walker is leaving Seattle. So those are the main three guys that Chiefs Kingdom is looking at. But I think ETN, just having a running threat alone and a guy that can catch the ball at the backfield as well like him, I think that's an ideal fit for Kansas City. And I think it's going to happen. I mean, I know you're not into this social media following people guy thing, but Mahomes and ETN have just followed each other on Instagram, if you care about that.
Call the Kansas City Star. We got a new A1. But I'd say, though, some of that, to me, falls in, like, when I look, you talk about explosive running backs. Seattle had two. One got hurt. They still, went on to win the Super Bowl. And I just put it feels like a lot of why. Why don't you have an explosive running back? You know what I'm saying? After, like, at least a passable league running back. I don't want to beat you up about it, too much about it. But if I was Kansas City,
I think you want to beat me up about it. You do.
If I was Kansas City, because we talked about this in the moment, I would have traded the second-round pick for Breece Hall. I would have traded the second round pick for Breece Hall at the deadline, got that extension done. Right now, if I'm Kansas City, I'm not letting Howie hang up, man. Like, you don't want him for real, man. He's a cancer in your locker room. What is it going to cost? It can't. It's not going to be 2 firsts. It can't. Whatever it's going to be to get AJ Brown, I feel like is worth Kansas City. Like, it's time to grow up at this position and get like some real guys.
I don't see Philly doing that with Kansas City, but I feel what you're saying. See, it's tough because, like I said, the legal issues make it hard. But I could tell you're not a Rashee Rice guy, just on the field. You don't believe in
I don't
Rashee
think
Rice.
like I said that when we were waiting for him to come back. I was like, "Who is it? Are we waiting for Jerry Rice to come back?" Because I'm not like, sure, Rashee Rice will catch a bubble screen, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But like, where's the guy in Kansas City that I know
that can win on the outside?
Yes, exactly.
I knew where you were going.
He's just not there, and he hasn't been there since Tyreek. And Tyreek, even when he was there, was not your prototypical guy who could win on the outside. He was just so damn fast, it didn't matter. You know? It's like, where's my you know me. Give me CeeDee Lamb. Give me Justin Jefferson. Give me Jamar Chase. Give me A.J. Brown. Give me that big old X I put out there outside the numbers, and you have to double him or he's going to dunk on you.
Okay, let me ask you this, since we kind of brought his name up. Let's say the pass rushers are gone. You don't get Jeremiah Love at 9. Do you take Lemon or Carnell Tate at 9 if you're Kansas City?
I've liked Mekhi Lemon since before he had a driver's license. I think that kid is going to be a problem. Honestly, though, at that spot, and I know this is a conversation we'll have. We could have this later on, closer to the draft. If that spot, dude, if you're telling me all the edge rushers are gone, Jeremiah Love is gone, quarterback is gone, and I'm at 9.
Caleb Downs is gone.
Right, I was about to say, I'm taking Caleb Downs, bro.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking Caleb Downs, and I will deal with everything else. Like, I don't care if I'm taking the safety at 9. When you look at what Kyle Hamilton is doing in these defenses, like, some of these guys, I don't care, bro. In today's NFL, you got to have a guy that can cover, that can tackle, and there you go. Let's transition to the NBA, because Mark and I started doing this about the Lemon Pepper Parlay NBA edition. So we go back. Do you remember, just a fun one, who's got a better post game, Kyrie Irving or Jalen Brunson?
Oh, my God. I do remember this conversation.
I was thinking about that the other day. Mark and I got into a knockdown, drag-out podcast debate, full on with pulling up YouTube clips. It's just funny the things that you remember when you host with somebody for so long. But here's one that we have had for a long time. And a lot has happened since this moment. But the last basketball era podcast we were doing, you may remember, was the Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks NBA Finals. Okay? Now, that at that moment in time, obviously Luka Doncic still at Dallas Maverick. Anthony Edwards, I was like all in on the Minnesota Timberwolves that postseason. I picked them to win the NBA Finals. I was all in. You couldn't persuade me anything but, right? So we get to the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota competed with 6 or 7 games, but by the end, it was 7 games. But by the second half of Game 7, it was all right. This thing, better luck next year, right? Because Luka Doncic was just at that point undeniable. He goes into Boston, and Boston really kind of dismantles Dallas, right? I think that's a fair way to put it, right? It was not a close finals. The games individually may have been 1 or 2, and the games in the middle of the series were kind of close, but it was really like, when is this thing going to end? Luka kind of got dragged for his, well, not kind of, really got dragged after his performance and all of that. He gets traded, and the NBA world goes abuzz. It is the most ridiculous thing ever. How could you ever? Nico Harrison, send him to the moon. What an idiot, right? And now we're with the Lakers. We have now gone through, 2 trade deadlines with Luka Doncic as a Los Angeles Laker. And
No, just one.
Well,
Just
I guess
one.
they made
Just
the
one.
deal before the deadline.
Yeah, he was
And
part of
then,
the
all right,
deadline.
so
Yeah.
one deadline they acquired him. So an offseason, then a deadline then. And
Yeah.
I don't feel like the Lakers are any closer to winning a championship than they were the day they got him. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. I agree. And I kind of feel like I have a sense of where you're trying to go with this, but I'm going to stop it right here because it's not Luka's fault. This is a Rob Pelinka thing. I mean, look at that roster. They don't have one single two-way player on that team. And if you look at the teams that I won recently, going back to your Boston, they had a Jaylen Brown, they had Jason Tatum, Derek White. I mean, we're talking about several two-way players on that roster. Last year, OKC, they're filled with two-way guys and depth. I think that is the new formula of how you win in the NBA is having two-way players and depth, strength in numbers. And the Lakers have neither one of those. So, yes, I understand Luka obviously is very flawed. I understand that, especially defensively. I get it. I 100% get it. But that Dallas roster, that was catered to his skill set. They surrounded him with guys that could defend. They had rim protectors. They had big men down low. Yeah, another ball handler in Kyrie that could relieve him sometimes of pressure. And you do have that with Austin Reeves and LeBron. But like I said, at the end of the day, they don't have the two-way guys around him that can kind of hide his deficiencies on defense, if you will.
So I wasn't going to go all the way that it's his fault. I don't think that it's just purely his fault. I do think that he is at fault for a lot, primarily not being in shape. Like I think that at 27 years old, he looks like he's 34, and that's
what happened to all that skinny Luke over the summer. Like he got fat again. I don't get it,
bro. Thank you. It's like I live in bizarro world. I was telling because if there's one thing I hate less than who follows who on Instagram, it's professional athlete works out as a headline. Like, I think it's the dumbest thing of all time. So I got to sit here and hear about how Luka Doncic is doing two-a-days over the summer, and that's somehow going to matter in February. Like, who cares what he
wasn't smoking a hookah? No more hookah, baby.
Right. But it's like all summer I was like, I do not care that Luka Doncic is somehow skinny Luka, because guess what they're not doing in August, playing back-to-backs. You know, I don't care. It did not matter to me, because until you show me an ability to do it on the court, that's when I'll care. And that I promise you, bro. Today at work, I changed my Slack picture to the men's health of Luka Doncic. I swear. I kid you not. Because I want to sue. Because they lied to me. They lied to me that this was going to be happening in the regular season. Now, I'll say this. What I find to be Luka's fault 100% is attitude. That dude has a terrible attitude. And it comes down to, I missed a shot. And I really think it comes down to, I'm out of shape. I missed the shot. I felt like I should have got fouled. You didn't reward me with the foul. I'm not running back there. I'm yelling. It's so much easier for me to stand here and yell at you, ref, than it is for me to run all the way back there on defense and try to get the ball back. That's what I plan to do. I do think that you're on to something with the Lakers and their roster construction and all of that. But I think it goes back to something even bigger than the Luka Doncic thing. I do not, have not, and will not believe that Austin Reeves is good enough to be a second or third player on a championship team. And I think, to your point, we are in a world where you look at the teams that have won championships in the last few years. It's not about your best player. It's about who is the worst player you have to play, right? Like, who's the worst player you have to play? And when I see the redundancy of Austin Reeves with the other guards, if he was scoring 40 points a game, every game, it's a different story. But that's just not the offensive efficiency that he has. I feel like, now, it may be too long for right now, but that to me feels like their kind of flaw is they did not get more versatile wing, to your point, two-way players instead of that. Because I think that offense is a little hyped.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I've always been saying, as far as this roster construction right now, it made more sense to me for Austin Reeves to come off the bench, because why is Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Luka all on the court at the same time for heavy minutes. I mean, obviously they're going to play together at some point, but it's only one basketball, and all three of those guys need the ball in their hands to be at their best offensively. So it just made more sense to me that if AR came off the bench. But at the end of the day, man, this roster is very flawed. I don't even understand how they're even. I mean, I do because they beat the bad teams, but every time they play a good team or a contender, they get their doors blown off. I mean, you saw the other day against Boston.
This is the thing that's scary about them in the postseason. While full caveat asterisk, I think this team wins 3 postseason games. So be clear. But individually, offensively, they have matchups that they can dominate, right? And when you're playing that postseason where it's one game, break, rest, and it's really a possession-by-possession game, but then it would help if Luka Doncic played a smidge of defense, like just a little bit of defense. Like Chris Paul, you saw the Chris Paul thing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty egregious, bro. Like that's almost like calling him a name, the way that Chris Paul talked around Luka Doncic and the defensive strategies that he employs. He's like, I'm not telling you that you got to be a 3-steal-a-game guy, but could you get in the way?
Yeah. No, I agree, man. And it's very frustrating because it just feels like another wasted year of the LeBron Laker experiment when this guy is still playing pretty good basketball. Like, he's obviously not a top 10 player anymore in the league, but he's still very productive and efficient. And it seems like Rob Pelinka didn't even try. Like, just kind of just waved the white flag. Hey, we'll just roll the ball out what we got. And we're waiting until we can move off of LeBron in the summer and revamp this roster moving with Luka moving forward and Austin Reeves, because it seemed like they pretty much punt on this year.
This is the concession that I was going to see if I could get you to make.
What's that?
Trading Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis and Max Christie and a pick is egregious. Trading Luka Doncic is not egregious at all.
I agree.
Let's go. Sometimes
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, I went to the game on Christmas when they played the Rockets and they got their ass kicked. And seeing it in person, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It kind of turned me off a little bit of Luka, a little bit.
Sometimes,
because in that game he was crying and whining. It was like exhausting to see in person. Like I know we see it on TV too, but like it's just different when you're actually
paid your hard-earned money to go watch it. It's like, come on, bro. Sometimes the execution of an idea is so bad that we never pay any attention to whether or not the idea was a good one. Like you know who got me on this? Saquon Barkley. The New York Giants had no business paying Saquon Barkley that contract. They weren't ready to win. If they had paid Saquon Barkley, they would have won 2 more games than they did the year before. But they didn't pay Saquon Barkley, and he goes on to have one of the best running back year of the last 5 years, right? And all of a sudden, because it worked out that well for Philly, it was a bad idea no matter what. Because the package they got back for Luka Doncic was so poor, it never, ever, ever was going to be evaluated about whether or not it was a good idea to do. And I think if you're the Dallas Mavericks, if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan right now, I'm not saying that you are all the way feeling good that you have the Cooper flag instead of Luka Doncic, but if you sure feel a lot better today than you did even maybe the day before Luka was traded.
Yeah, and I think you feel 10 out of 10, kind of going to your point, if you still got Cooper flag, but you got a better package for Luka. Like, if you still had whoever that Anthony Davis is, still was on your roster moving forward with Cooper flag, I think you feel great.
If you could just got a Mikal Bridges package for Luka Doncic, that would have been cool. A Rudy Gobert type package for Luka Doncic, that would have been. See, when you have those as your comparisons, like it's tough to say you made a good deal trading a guy of that nature. But let's one more topic, and then we'll break down and play some games real quick, because the big conversation in the NBA has been tanking, which that has a lot to do with the fact that apparently This is the greatest draft class since the 83 quarterback, 96 guard, and, just in general, at draft ever. You know what I'm saying? World War II draft. Doesn't compare. This one's got everybody, apparently. And the number one star of the dash is Darryn Peterson, who's been playing at Kansas. And I'll let everybody behind the curtain a little bit. I texted Mark Gunnels on Saturday after Kansas lost. I said, what's the biggest problem with Kansas? I said, what's the 3 biggest problems with Kansas? The 3 he had were Darryn Peterson, Darryn Peterson, Darryn Peterson. Now,
tongue in cheek.
He did play 30-some minutes last night. He did, to me, I don't know if there was another controversy about him coming in and out of the lineup, but just your Darryn Peterson insight.
Yeah, so this thing has took a life of its own, and as somebody, as I texted you, that's watched every single KU basketball game this year, even back to the exhibition games, here's what's going on.
How was that Kansas Green Bay game?
It was fun, actually. That's when Darryn Peterson was looking very healthy at that point. It was exciting. But he started off having hamstring issues. Then it turned into cramps. And at the beginning, Bill Self and his messaging was not the best. It was very contradicting at times. And it was getting loud amongst the fan base. But it didn't reach you guys yet. You national media folks. It didn't reach you guys yet. It was just all in the Kansas group chat.
It was like week 3 NFL, buddy. We were busy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You guys were watching football. You weren't worried about college basketball. So, but this thing has been brewing for a while. And just to make a long story short, at the end of the day, I think all of the national media now that came out after the Oklahoma State game, I think is very unfair. Because how many dribbles of basketball did Stephen A. Smith watch for Kansas this year? I bet it's less than 10.
Stop that sentence.
And you got these
Kansas this year, but go ahead.
Like, none of these guys have actually watched any games. So, and it was the perfect time because there was no NBA because they were still in the All-Star break. No NFL, obviously. It was the perfect time for all the national media to talk about the Darryn Peterson story.
Hey, you know it better than anybody. We got to put something on TV.
Oh yeah, I know. I get it. But the irony is that situation wasn't even the most egregious amongst KU fans. That was like normal. Like, okay, that's cool. Whatever. He called out. They're up by 20. Who cares? But we're like, this is the one that got everybody going. But at the end of the day, here's how I see it. And, I know some people. So, I'm not the brag or anything. But he is playing hurt. That's the main point here. He is playing hurt. It would have been easy for him to shut it down after the first half of that BYU game and say, I'm not playing it no more in college basketball, because he dominated AJ DeBansta. He scored, 18 points in the first half. He looked amazing. After that game, he was the clear-cut number 1 pick in the draft. So you could actually argue by playing, especially injured, he's actually hurting his stock.
That's the thing.
Not helping
it. That's the thing that doesn't – that's where my disconnect is, right there. You mean to tell me that the kid who by around Christmas, January was like, oh, this guy's number 1 overall pick, is hurting his draft stock more and more and more by playing? He's playing. So he's clearly trying to work through something, right? Like, there's, to me, this being a story of a guy who doesn't care seems to me, just on the outside looking in, again, I've never talked to the kid, it seems very silly when you really just, on the headline, sure, but when you drill down just a little bit, it's like, why is this kid asking out of games? Oh, because he's freaking not feeling good, right? Now, if you want to talk about if you want to extend that to the NBA and say, well, do you have concerns about that? That's a different conversation. Yes, red flags everywhere in terms of where this kid will be at 24, 25, 26, right? But today, what I see is a kid who's got, I don't know what his NIL is, but I know he's got a good deal amount right now in his back pocket.
It's around $5 million.
He's got, that's what I'm saying, he's got $5 million in his back pocket today. And he's going out there knowing that he could be costing himself the idea he'd be the first pick or second pick or third pick. I imagine he's not costing himself lottery realistically, right? There's no chance, right? Even they took Embiid with all his feet issues that was the third overall pick. It's like, we will take you, right? We don't care. But with this, our first overall pick, I should say. But this one, this to me, it just to me says he's not my number one overall pick. That's my takeaway. But I really do kind of commend the kid for showing to me that he's willing to play, and I do kind of give Bill Self a little smoke here. He's come out the last few times being like, if he could play the whole game, he would have. But you could have been singing this a long time ago, before everybody else memorized the other song.
Yeah, no, that's why a lot of fans are frustrated. They're not frustrated necessarily with Darryn Peterson, the player. They're more frustrated with the messaging around the situation. There's been a lot of, like I said, of mixed messaging, contradicting. But at the same time, I do want to say Bill Self's in a tough spot because this kid has an agent. He also has a dad that has been overseeing a lot of things as well. And based on what I've been seeing and how I feel about the situation, I think it's most logical to assume that he's been told by his agent, his dad, or even both of them, his camp in general, that whenever you feel something in your legs, ask out the game. I don't think a 19-year-old is just openly willing, without any outside influences, saying, I want to come out the game. I just don't think that's logical to believe that. I mean, this guy, like, he loves basketball.
Yeah,
man. You don't get
unless
this good
he's got
if you don't love the game.
Unless you have a real question about his dedication and interest in the game, then to me, the health is the only thing. But unless that is evident, I should say, right? Like, when you look, like, that was the knock on Ben Simmons when he was 14 years old. He doesn't have fun doing this, and sure enough. But, like, even just in his post game yesterday, Darryn Peterson was like, bro, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Like, I really like playing basketball. It's what I want to do. I'm paraphrasing, but when I hear that out of the kid, I think it's much ado about nothing. But let's go ahead quick because we only got a couple more minutes. Let's play some games here.
Okay, so we can start with you, Mark, just because you're the guest. Go for it.
Am I in the Eastern Conference?
You are not in the Eastern Conference.
Am I in the Eastern Conference?
You are in the East.
Am I a guard?
You are not a guard. You can play guard, but you're not a guard.
Did I make the All-Star team this year?
No, you did not.
Am I playing in California?
No, you don't play in California.
Eastern Conference, not All-Star. Is my team a top 5 team in the East?
You are not a top 5 team in the East.
Am I a NBA champion?
Ooh, good question. You are not an NBA champion yet.
Yes, he says.
That's big.
Oh,
they're
still playing.
The whole league is still playing. All right. Okay. Do I play in the southeastern United States? A geography.
Yes, you do. I don't know why it took me so long to picture that. Yes, you do.
Am I shooting over 40% from 3?
No, you're not.
I think I might know who mine is.
I think you might too.
Is it my LaMelo Ball?
No, you're not LaMelo Ball.
Am I a 20 points per game scorer or more?
No, you're actually not scoring 20 or more a game this season.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, so recap. I'm in the Eastern Conference. I'm not an All-Star. I'm not LaMelo Ball. And I'm not on a top 5 team in the East. So I got to be... All right. Have I won a playoff series in my career?
No, you have not.
Can I ask the same question that he asked me for? Or is that
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
For
okay.
sure.
Okay. Am I on a top 4 team in the Western Conference?
You are on a top 5 team in the West.
Top 5 or top 4?
Top 4.
Oh, okay. All right.
Both.
Okay. All right. But yeah.
So I've never won a playoff series. So I imagine I have to be relatively young. Am I my first year in the league?
No, you're not.
Have I ever been an All-Star?
No, you've never been an All-Star.
Okay.
Am I healthy right now? Am I hurt? No, wait, never mind. No.
Okay.
I don't want that one. I don't want that one. Never won a playoff series. Makes this very interesting. I'm not a rookie. And I'm in the Southeast. I have to play for the Magic, the Heat, the Hawks, or the Hornets. Who in this group will qualify for this? Am I Paolo Banchero?
Yeah, that's it. Paolo Banchero.
Let's go.
Nice. All right, Mark, get your beer pong redemption shot here.
So I have to say a player now.
Yeah, you have to guess. You have to guess it on the dot here.
Damn it, Martin.
Take your time. You have all. Run through them. It's like seriously, that's what I just did. I just ran through what I had in my head.
This would be impressive.
Yeah.
But I think it's doable, but it would be impressive.
Okay, so I know I'm top 4 in the West. You said I'm not a champion, so I'm not on the OKC Thunder. I'm not a guard. I don't average 20 or more a game. So it's between the Spurs, Rockets, or Nuggets. He doesn't average 20. Am I a Min Thompson?
Yes, you're a man.
Yes!
Holy
Yes!
crap, nice.
Yes!
Wow. Wow.
Well, because the guard,
that might be the best snipe we've had.
It was the
Wow.
guard thing because technically he is their point guard this year, but he's not really like.
Oh, okay. So damn, I might have thrown you off then by saying that he's not a
Yeah, 'cause
guard.
they don't have a point.
That,
They don't really have a point guard, so it was like,
I thought like Reed Shepard or something.
Yeah.
But I guess, that's man.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Impressive.
So for sudden death, we
Yeah.
go to sudden death now. You're each assigned the same player. So now it's just yes or no questions. Each question you guys ask helps the other. So we'll see whoever can be the first one to get it wins sudden death. Martin, you guessed right first, so we'll start with you.
Am I on a playoff team? Top? No. I want to do that. Am I on? If the season ended today, would I have home court advantage in the playoffs?
Yeah, if the season ended today, you'd have
Okay.
home court advantage.
All right.
okay. I hate doing this because it simplifies it so much, but it's like, fuck.
It's tough because you can either guess, but like if you ask a question, it also helps Martin.
I know, so this is why this is harder.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to help him too much, but I want to help myself too. Cause that gave it away right there. So we're down to 8 teams already with him asking that question. Am I an all-star this year?
Yes, you are an all-star.
Okay.
I am an all-star. Have I made more than 3 all-star games?
No, you haven't.
Okay, so 3 or less.
Just so you know, I'm guessing a player next. The pressure's on, pal.
So after you guess a player, at that point, there's no more questions, no more?
No. If I get it wrong,
No, you can guess
Yeah.
as many as you want, but you just
but
don't
I'm
get
just
to ask the
letting you know
question
if I get it right.
Okay. Oh, you're going for the kill. Okay. Got you. I might guess a player right now since you told me your strategy.
Go for it.
Less than 3 All-Stars, but you are an All-Star this year. Top 4 in each conference. Am I Jamal Murray?
Not Jamal Murray.
I am Cade Cunningham.
No, you're not Cade Cunningham either.
Oh, I was so confident. I just knew that was going to be the answer, bro. I was so confident.
I was confident in Jamal Murray too, low-key.
All right.
Okay, so you're an All-Star this year, but less than 3. Top 4 in either conference. There's no way you did this one, right? Am I Wemby?
That's it. You're Wemby.
Oh my God!
Mark wins.
Wow.
I didn't think you would make it.
Bravo.
I didn't think you would name a player like so popular. I was like, there's no way. It's
No, that's it for sudden death.
Bravo.
That's exactly what I was going for. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Wow.
I think, I don't know to be sure, but that's probably the only 3 players that qualify for the less than 3 years in the All-Star game and top 4 in the
Yeah.
West.
Yeah. Those were good questions to start. And actually, that was a crazy comeback because Martin got it. Like, Martin got Paolo so long ago, and you came back with the redemption and then got it in OT.